Distortion. Primal. Everything in creation from the birth to the death of the universe. Everything lived, imagined, thought, or expressed, or experienced is a distortion of the pure, undistorted, undifferentiated intelligent infinity. Ra reports that among the infinite possible distortions, there are three fundamental primal distortions from which every subsequent distortion springs. The three primal distortions emerge from the potential of intelligent infinity to form the kinetic of intelligent energy in the following sequence, each one birthing the next. Intelligent infinity. First distortion, free will. Law of free will, also known as the law of free will or the law of confusion. Second distortion is love. Law of love. Logos, the creative principle, primal co-creator. The third distortion is light, the law of light. From these three distortions come many hierarchies of distortions. Example, everything. Ross says that each distortion or level of distortion has its own paradoxes to be synthesized and that no one is more important than another. The primal distortions are also called laws or ways, with the recognition that there is only one law or way, the law of one. Other so-called laws are distortions of this law. Some of them, like the three in this entry, are primal and most important for progress to be understood. However, Ra advises that each so-called law be understood as a distortion rather than a law because there is no multiplicity to the law of one. It is the only true law. Ra nevertheless calls certain distortions laws, for example, law of responsibility, law of service, etc. Creation story. The primal distortions constitute the creation story, the cosmic genesis of the universe, the birth of all that there is, the one becoming the many. However, these first or primal distortions of intelligent infinity are not ultimately located in an ancient beginning, far removed from third density. Rather, the primal distortions exist within the heart of the self at all times. As the entity raises the locus of awareness into the indigo ray and awakens the logoic identity, the self as the logos, the self moves ever more purely into work with the primal distortions, abiding by these laws and becoming a conscious instrument for their activity. Ra also offers vibratory complexes recapitulate in reverse the creation in its unity, thus showing the rhythm or flow of the great heartbeat, if you will use this analogy. The one becoming the many is that action of the heartbeat that sends the, shall we say, pure lifeblood outward into creation and manifestation, where it becomes distorted in infinite ways by infinite expressions of free will. The many becoming the one is the return of that lifeblood to its origins, replete with experience, gradually undistorted in the perception or understanding of the conscious seeker on its journey home, where the heart may absorb that which has been gained and beat once more. So what does Ra mean when they say that vibratory complexes recapitulate in reverse the creation in its unity? In the first action of the heartbeat, the outward movement, the primal distortions create the infinite universe in the sequence of 1, 2, 3, and bang. Creation. In the second action of the heartbeat, the vibratory complexes, also known as creation, move in reverse. 3, 2, 1, and light, material of the universe, seeks consciousness. The Logos seeks spirit. The free will distortion seeks unity. The term upward spiraling light is an indication not of your up and down concept, but an indication of the concept of that which reaches towards the source of love and light. When all of creation in its infinity has reached a spiritual gravitational mass of sufficient nature, the entire creation infinitely coalesces. The light seeking and finding its source, and thusly ending the creation and beginning a new creation, much as you consider the black hole, as you call it, with its conditions of infinitely great mass at the 0 point, from which no light may be seen as it has been absorbed. Questioner: then the black hole would be a point. Am I correct in saying it would be a point at which the environmental material had succeeded in uniting with unity or the Creator? Is this correct? I am Ra. The black hole which manifests or appears to us in third density is the physical complex manifestation of this spiritual or metaphysical state. This is correct. Here is a synopsis of the heartbeat, captured in one fascinating question and answer session. The concept of the white light of the sub-logos being prismatically separated and later, at the final chapter, being absorbed again is basically correct. However, there are subtleties involved which are more than semantic. The white light which emanates and forms the articulated sub-logos has its beginning in what may be metaphysically seen as darkness. The light comes into that darkness and transfigures it, causes the chaos to organize and become reflective or radiant. Thus, the dimensions come into being. Conversely, the blackness of the black hole, metaphysically speaking, is a concentration of white light being systematically absorbed once again into the one Creator. Finally, this absorption into the one Creator continues until all the infinity of creations have attained sufficient spiritual mass in order that all form once again the great central sun, if you would so imagine it, of the intelligent infinity awaiting potentiation by free will. Thus, the transition of the octave is a process which may be seen to enter into timelessness of unimaginable nature. To attempt to measure it by your time measures would be useless. Therefore, the concept of moving through the black hole of the ultimate spiritual gravity well and coming immediately into the next octave misses the sub-concept or corollary of the portion of this process which is timeless. Then is born a new universe, a new infinity, a new logos, which incorporates all that the Creator has experienced of itself. Outward and inward, outward and inward, we in the third density are on the return side of that U-turn back to source. Systematic reabsorption. I have a theory that the systematic reabsorption of the primal logos at the end of the octave is begun much earlier. For instance, here Ra describes the rejection or non-integration of love and light into the self, and the resulting reduction of the lifespan and necessity for healing. Thus, the shortened lifespan is due to the necessity for removing an entity from the intensity of experience which ensues when wisdom and love are, having been rejected, reflected back into the consciousness of the Creator without being accepted as part of the self. This then causing the entity to have the need for healing and for much evaluation of the incarnation. When we in the third density love and accept what is, when we accept more and more of the creation as self, we integrate or reabsorb the material into our being. We are as agents of the primal logos in that regard. As we merge self with self, self with other self, and self with the Creator, we synthesize and integrate the fragments of the manyness into the one, of which we are microcosm. We embark upon the flight towards that great logos. Then, at the conclusion of the octave cycle, we arrive at the event horizon, the macrocosm delivering unto unity all of our experience and lessons, all of the creation that we reabsorb into ourselves as a gift to the Creator. This process of integrating and containing within ourselves more and more of the creation as self is also the process of gaining spiritual mass. This coinciding with the increasing density of light in each succeeding density. You may conveniently consider each density of being to have a greater and greater spiritual mass. The mass increases, shall we say, significantly, but not greatly, until the gateway density. In this density, the summing up, the looking backwards, in short, all the useful functions of polarity have been used. Sequence and the eternal present moment. The main entry includes the sentence, "The three primal distortions emerge from intelligent infinity in the following sequence, each one birthing the next." The word sequence, a particular order in which events follow one another, seems to be the best term to apply here. Ra does indicate that there is a progression from a state of no distortion to the first, to the second, to the third, and then to the birth of the universe. Yet, one must confront the paradox of simultaneously in the eternal present moment when considering these initial steps. Making a beautiful go at it, Diana writes, "The universe is one simultaneous present moment. In reality, nothing came before anything else. However, if we are to map the relationships that exist within the inherent structure of intelligent infinity's experience, we must use terms that convey causality or sequence. It's a bit like attempting to describe the rainbow that emerges when white light becomes distorted. The first wavelength appears to be red, then orange, then yellow, and so on. In truth, all the colors exist at once and in the same place, despite their organized or ordered relationships as we experience them. One did not cause the next, yet none could exist without the reality of the other's unique configurations or distortions of the pure white light. And ultimately, for colors to seem to exist at all, They must be perceived by an observer who is itself distorted from the One into an illusionary state of separateness, so that there may exist both the observer and the observed. Dun dun dun.